So
we are streaming. Well, then excellent. Hello, Real Estate Rockstars. Coach Hannah, Coach Jess here. I am so thrilled to tell you the great news that you obviously see. Coach Jess is back. Oh, and we missed her. We missed her. And today's topic, Jess, will be very impromptu, kind of. Nothing is scripted. I just need to pick your brain what to do when life happens. In a real estate business, life is happening daily, right? It's such a vibrant industry and business to be in. And you maybe who are following, just that she was very busy, very active, jamming all the way, and then suddenly middle August just was gone. Yes.
It's just like it was like record scratch, like crash, stop, everything came to a halt. And
everything came to a halt, and it was for a personal reason, and then another personal reason happened. And I basically missed you for 2 long months. But you had to take care of not the business but the family business. And I want to know how. Okay, now I'm going to lean back, I'm going to take my red Solo cup, and I'm going to listen to you. How did you manage to sustain in a business?
Well, for starters, so what happened was my wife had surgery. It was like just run-of-the-mill surgery, nothing big, we expected that one was on the books. But then 2 days after my wife had surgery, my dad went into the hospital. And he was there for a month, and then he was in a nursing facility for a month, and we just moved him back in with us on Tuesday. So, and this is not yesterday, Tuesday, but last week, Tuesday. So he's been here for a week now. And I have not done anything for my own business.
Wait a minute. You have to give us tips and tricks how to sustain in a business.
So here's the trick though. I personally, I have not done anything. My business came crashing to a halt. And I have just this past week started kind of reaching out, cleaning up my databases and everything, and reaching out to people. But the thing is,
tell me what happens. Okay, so you didn't have any deals pending. Nothing was.
I did have deals pending. I had a couple of. I had 3 deals that were pending, and I had a couple of listings. I actually ended up canceling one, so it was just.
But the other deals you had in pipeline, they went through.
I had them in my pipeline and everything.
Of your absence.
And this is why, the pipeline is so important. It is so important because it's like what you do today affects you 2 months from now. It takes 30 to 45 days to get a deal going, once you're in contract. But
so you still had some momentum from the regular day-to-day business, and then middle August happened. You completely had to drop everything what you were doing and take care of your loved ones. You live in Florida, and your dad was in Kentucky, right?
He was in Kentucky, so I was 12 hours away. And I'm an only child, so it was just me. So there was nobody else to.
Well, of course, listen, we have priorities. Family comes first, and everything else is secondary. Because that's how it rolls in life. I hope for most of us. So you had a couple of deals which went still through during the 2 months of the period of your absence. Have you had friends, realtors in place?
I have had some amazing partnerships that have some amazing agents that have been helping me out. I mean, I've had Jim Steele helping me out with a couple of things. I have to give her a shout out because she's so amazing and she's been so helpful. She's actually new to her brokerage here in Florida. Brittany Davis, she has been helping me out here locally. And I'm like, oh my God, you're like my new work bestie. I love you so much. But she was, I was turning over my leads because I was still getting leads and everything. So Brittany and I, we were kind of like piggybacking. We were like, okay, we worked out a deal. We put it all in writing. Make sure you get everything in writing because there are agents out there that will be like, we didn't agree to a referral fee or whatever.
Yes.
You get that that in writing, but Brittany has been absolutely essential to helping me
Yeah.
stay kind of with it. I was sending her my leads. Heck, I'm still sending her a couple of my leads because
Excellent.
I kicked up my pipeline and my advertising and everything and started reaching out more and more to
That's
people.
still a cash flow. That's still, you
Yeah.
had a deals in pipeline, you got some referrals. So that's still a good news because you are feeding the beast. You're feeding the
Yeah.
business.
The whole thing is you got to feed that beast. It is, and
Yeah.
it is, it can be really overwhelming. I have felt so overwhelmed, and
Mhm.
I'm still kind of trying to find my place. And
Sure.
this is going to be such an interesting kind of social experiment as
Yeah.
it, because I'm gonna try and kind of keep Rockstars informed as to kind of okay, so this is what's going on. I've been blogging a lot about it, on my personal blog and everything, and just trying to find my way again. It's almost like I feel like I'm almost rebuilding my business for what is this, like the fourth time?
Uh-huh.
So it's interesting, and it's just very tiring and exhausting. And the biggest thing I'm trying not to do is I'm trying not to feel guilty
Yeah.
about wanting to actually focus on myself as well.
Mindset.
It's
We are
like,
looping back into a mindset. I absolutely want to hear back about that. Hey guys, you're watching or listening. I have a special guest on top of this. Coach Linda Brown is joining us as well because guess what? She also had to drop everything she was doing and had to prioritize her daughter. But we'll get to Linda. We'll get to you in a little bit. I just still have a couple of questions on Jess. And that is, what is your strategy right now? Okay, you're back in business. Of course, you still have to take care of your family and your dad, but you have everyone at least under same roof, which gives you peace of mind, and it gives you clarity and helps you to focus on a business. What will be your first steps to take a hold of your steering wheel?
well, my first step is going to be reminding everybody that, hey, I'm still here. It is, I know they're constantly saying, and I know that Bruno said this too, is don't be a secret agent. And I constantly hear my broker in my office saying, don't be a secret agent, don't be a secret agent. So yeah, it's like kind of, because it's like I was radio silent for 2 whole months.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna call everyone and just
Oh
like,
yeah, I've already been calling my clients. I've already been saying, "Hey, I'm here." I've been sending out cards,
yeah.
sending out little emails and stuff. I'm turning back on
I
all of
even
my social
believe that
media.
if you will tell them over the phone, obviously, what happened in your life, that they will appreciate you for being
Yeah,
a human and prioritizing your family because,
yeah, exactly.
that's all we have at the end.
That was one thing that I was so worried about, because I was like, oh my gosh, because there are some people out there that are like, oh, you have to do this for me now. I want to go see this house now, or
Yeah.
no, I want you to come over and give me a CMA right now. And it's like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. This is my priority.
Yeah.
And for me, it's really been learning those boundaries and keeping those boundaries. The boundaries,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, the boundaries are so important. Do what makes you feel comfortable. It's like, don't work with assholes. If somebody's like uncomfortable and just like pushing and pushing and pushing, you're allowed to say no to people.
Yeah.
And that has been, I mean, I'm still learning that lesson, because I still feel like I kind of get pushed around a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's just because that's me. That's my nature. I'm a
And
very
we work in service, right? We work in
exactly.
service and we are here to help. We are here to educate and provide. And unfortunately, sometimes they get us. I hear it. I think that's a ongoing process of us making that decision. Who is a green
Yeah.
light and who is a red light?
Yeah. And it's
Mhm.
trust. One thing that I've really learned, trust your gut.
Yeah.
It is, I
Yeah.
mean, I've always said, trust your gut, trust your gut. but it's really practicing what you preach. It's not just, hey, well, okay, I'll do this. And
Uh-huh.
that it's like there's so many cliches about, if you give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile. And
Mhm.
it's so true. And it's like you just have to really stick to those boundaries, and you
Yeah.
can be nice about it. You really can. You can be like, no, not gonna do this. Thanks, but no thanks.
Okay, after you will call your whole entire database, your sphere of influence, the hottest leads, what will be your next steps to get back to where you were in July? Tell me.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna start doing some door knocking. I'm gonna go back to my roots. I'm gonna go.
Basics,
I'm
back
gonna,
to basics.
yeah, back to
Okay, I'm
basics.
reserving you for jam session just talking about door knocking, because that has been a topic on the Real Estate Rockstars Facebook. I've been watching it, and
Mhm.
I think we should bring some clarity to it. Yeah. So door knocking, what else?
Just a lot of mailers. I'm gonna do some farming and everything. I've been actually this morning I was working on pulling some farming areas around my local area and everything. And it's I'm pulling out my books and I'm
Yeah.
kind of relearning. I feel like I've been so squirrel, and everything has been kind of focused so much on my family. It's like
Yeah.
I need a refresher course almost. That's kind of how I feel. And so
Hey,
it's
I'm
like,
gonna run you through
yeah,
all of our courses,
yeah,
including Linda's. You'll get your books.
yes.
Straighten up.
I've got them right here on my shelf. So I'm like, it's like right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Well, just thank you so much for sharing. Please stay on the call. Stay on the call, because I will
Absolutely.
swiftly pull the spotlight on our dear coach, Linda Brown. Uh, Linda, as today we are talking about hard pivot when life happens, how do you continue the business? How do you stay in the business? Just managed to really put a hard stop on it, still had some business in a pipeline, still got some referrals, so there was a cash flow going on. And now you heard what she said, how she's gonna get back on tracks because she knows. How was it in your case when suddenly you had to drop everything and go and help your daughter while continuing your business, while being an entrepreneur, while coaching and doing the finance work and all that stuff you are doing on a daily basis? Oh, we don't hear you. Oh no.
So for me, it's a little different because I've already been where Jess was. When my father was passing, I took 3 months off from my business, November, December, and January. Now, as an accountant, can there be 3 worse months to take off? Probably not, right? So I went down from a pretty large clientele to a handful. But as Jess and I were talking recently, I don't work to live, right? No, let me rephrase that because I said that backward. I don't live, my life is not work, right?
Right.
I work because I need to live and support myself and my family. So we're going to do what needs to get done to earn that income, but we're not going to dedicate all of our time, all of our resources, and all of our happiness and our joy and our free time to working. That's a small portion, or should be a smaller portion of our day, and our larger portion should be actually being able to help our dads in need, help our daughters in need, heal ourselves if we get sick. So there's things that I learned from my 2017 event that I've now put into play for my 2023 event. I have been back and forth to my daughters for the last month, living with her in her one-room apartment, because she's in college, for 2 solid weeks straight. Yes, I can do some of it on my laptop from where I am, because even being with my daughter, I needed time to de-stress from that as well. So I was able to do that. But more so, I have a team to support me, right? And so a lot of what I even teach my clients is, if you don't have that team now to support you, find somebody in your field who can support you if something happens,
Mhm.
because things happen. I don't know anybody out there that nothing has ever happened to.
Yeah.
So you get sick and you have an important call or an important showing. Who can you call up that can help you out with that? You get called away for a parent. Who do you have that you can call to help you out with that? So it doesn't really matter what size your business is. If you're a solopreneur, you have to find somebody else outside of your business, and you have to have a pre-arranged agreement, right?
Mhm.
It's just, I'm sure if somebody else stepped in for you, they would expect your entire commission, even though you did the first 9 months worth of work, it closed on their play, right? Are they going to expect that whole commission? So it's really good to have something when we're a solo with pre-written agreement saying, hey, if you help me out, if I help you out, this is how we split commissions. But it's also good for somebody in my position who has the team saying, okay, you're responsible for going through my emails, letting me know what I'm responsible for, what I'm not responsible for. You're responsible for calling the clients and making sure we get this stuff. So it helps if we have a support system within our business, whether they're paid from us or helping outside. I know that at one point in time in the home staging business, because you all know I'm Hannah's coach, I had 2 individual solopreneurs. I said, hook up and be each other's support system. If something happens to one of you, the other one can step in. And so they actually did that, and they actually utilized that during COVID. So it all depends on where we are, but we all need a support system. So I was very blessed that I had mine in place.
Yeah. Well, Jess, I think it's a good time to sit down with your friend who helped you immensely and basically create a system if something happens. That you can go like, hey, can you please pick up my stuff? Life happens. I can't be here.
Oh yeah. No, it's Linda's right. You have to have somebody that you can trust. And sometimes, I mean, there have been agents out there that I've actually, that I've said, hey, can you do this for me?
Yeah.
And sometimes things go off the rails. Everybody is different, and you think you can count on somebody, but you can't. But it's good to have the network. It's also, at least in my brokerage, everybody is so helpful, and it's like a family. It really is. I know that there's quite a few brokerages out there that, it's more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
But I always like a more communal kind of tribe.
Yeah.
I like having my tribe. It's like, I know that there are certain things that I'm not good at that somebody else in the office might be great at.
Yeah.
And being able to pull that ear. I mean, it's not just with, like, if something happens, like with me or with Linda, we want to be able to have someone or multiple people that we can actually rely on, that you can go to and say, hey, this is happening. Even just as a sounding board is good. It's like I was emailing my transaction coordinator while I was gone, and I was like, hey, what can we do with this? What can we do with that? And they were like, don't worry about it, we've got it covered. And I was like, oh, cool.
There you go. So that's actually your team. So can we outline a team you actually had while you were gone? So you had transaction coordinator, right?
Yeah, I had my transaction coordinator. My hair is just like driving me nuts. Sorry.
You had hair.
Yeah.
You had your realtor friend who
I had my
was
realtor
ready
friend
to
here
show
in Citrus
houses
County.
or
Yeah, that was
do
she
stuff.
was great. She actually was taking some of my clients out on showings and everything, because I was just like, I would explain to them, I was like, especially very suddenly that very first week, I was like, I have to go. I cannot do this. Can you please do this? And we would get on group chats, and group chats are phenomenal. We would just get in there, and if one of my clients would ask me a question, it would be in the group chat. If Brittany didn't get to it right away, I could usually get to it right away, because I'm just sitting in the hospital, just like, okay, but it's important to have that community. It's important to kind of really build it, it's not just like one person to do it all for you, to like help you with it.
I think it's actually crucial to build it before things go wrong.
Yeah.
I think that is something what I would like to, put an exclamation on. Please look around who can be in your corner when you can't do it all by yourself. And there can be a lot of people who can help you.
In school, it's like, but as an adult, you don't have a teacher saying, okay, you and Johnny are going to be lab partners this week. You have to go out and find your own lab partner.
Well, but you know what? It gives you also freedom. For example, if you want to take a vacation, if you want to go, somewhere for more than a long weekend, and you have stuff going on in your pipelines, you want to go for 2 weeks to Europe, let's say, you need to have someone who will step in, and then you will have a set time that you will check your email and your phone in certain hours, and the business will continue. That is important. We should not become slaves to the business.
No, and that's what I was trying to say before. We need to live. And so unfortunately, these smartphones, people expect us to be on 24/7. So, it is teaching people, like I keep saying, there's no such thing as a bookkeeping emergency, right? It either you paid the money or you didn't pay the money, but you doing it at the last minute is not going to make any big difference in the recording of it. But like Jess was saying, when she's gone and when it was unexpected, it also helps to not just have the backup, but what are the expectations for the backup and how much of a fee do you expect after? Because the last thing you want to have is somebody help you and then for them to say, well, I'm taking the whole commission. You don't get any of it, even though you were the first, whatever. So it's really important that
you put it in writing.
Everything will be agreed upon beforehand. Hey, if I help you out, this is how much, you'll get paid or whatever. So it's really nice to have it documented because you're going to be able to save your friendships and your relationships that way.
That's important. Yeah.
So even if your parents loan you money or your siblings loan you money, you write it down. Because then it can't be a he said, she said. It's always okay, this is what we agreed to.
Yep.
Yeah. Jess, what do you think? How long it will take you? A guess? Give us a guesstimate to bounce back. You had a couple of these unexpected situations in your life. So what do you think? How long? When should we get back on the call and see how it all went?
Honestly, I'm not really stressing about it. I am trying to enjoy what time I have with my dad, and who knows, he could be around for a year, he could be around for 5 years, or we could get hit by a bus tomorrow. You don't know. But I'm really trying to kind of shift my mindset not to stress out about it.
And I love that even better. So please forgive me for asking such a stupid question.
I have a better question to ask. Yes. It would be really nice because you feel like you're almost restarting. If you could give us a 5-minute update once a week on what you've done in the past week to help.
That's actually a really, really good idea. And I think that would actually be like really cool. And honestly, that would also be a little bit of accountability for me too, because it's like, while I'm trying not to stress out and everything, I know I've got the ADHD and I am very much like, ooh, squirrel, shiny. So I know that I can get distracted. So that might be a good accountability for me. So I like this idea. So,
we don't have to put you on the spot for half an hour, but a 5-minute, hey, I went out and visited 100 people and you know what? I talked to 60 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. If you'll do that, can you please keep stats? Because that again will inspire others who might be listening to this on a podcast or watching it as a replay, just to see that it can be done because Jess gets it done.
Yeah.
even though you have so much going on, I know you.
And honestly, I'm going to start small. I'm just gonna, like this week, my priority is cleaning up my database. I'm going to find out, where I've been, what I should be doing, which I kind of know what I should be doing. And just kind of like getting back into the swing of things and seeing, I'm gonna give myself a lot of grace though, because that's one thing that I didn't do when my mom passed 4 years ago when I first moved to Florida, which that was, rebuilding, like that was like building brand new. Here, at least now I've got a sphere. At least I have, I know what I'm doing and everything, and I know people here. But it's going to be rebuilding that sphere. It's going to be rebuilding my client lists and everything and touching base. I'm going to start small. I'm giving myself a goal of at least 5 people a day.
Okay.
That it might even go smaller than that because we're still kind of, in transition with everything. We've got home health care setting up next week, which, I know that there are some people out there that they can't afford that, or their insurance doesn't cover that. So I know that I'm very lucky and I'm very blessed to have that ability. But yeah, I'm going to start small and I'm not going to stress because I also know that this is also kind of like a slow time. Like after Halloween, we've got the holidays. We've got November, December, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, everything, and the New Year's, but I really want to hit the ground running. I want to make sure that, my business is where I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to have an epic year next year. I really do. And I know I still got 3 months. I still can do a lot of business in 3 months.
Yeah.
It's entirely doable. I live in Florida. It's our market, it does not slow down. But I know that I am personally trying to kind of slow down myself because I know that I can't keep up the pace that I was at and take care of my family, let alone myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a question of figuring out the priorities.
You mentioned that a lot
say.
during the call, and I think you're on it.
And Florida is really, really fast. My parents put their house on the market on Tuesday. It was sold on Saturday, closed on 2 weeks later. So within a month, they said, is there any interest? To the house was sold and they're leaving. So you guys really move fast down there.
Yes, we really do. And it's, honestly, if it's not moving fast, there's something wrong with it. So you're either priced wrong or your house is outdated or something. Usually it's pricing, but
it always goes back to the price.
Yeah, that's another webinar entirely.
Oh, I had a fun chat with Mike Cribben about pricing. It's gonna be released soon. Everyone should hear his opinion. Oh my goodness, this is excellent, ladies. Thank you so much for hopping on this impromptu jam session. Jess, thank you for coming back. We missed you.
I'm so glad to be back. I cannot wait.
Yeah, guys, Jess is our coach who is an expert on communication. We are going to make sure that we'll put her coaching program on our calendar and let you know about that. As you can tell, she knows a lot and she's an excellent coach. And with Linda, I'm sure that you know the story about my bookkeeping being in the boxes and me starting to work with her when I was 9 years in the business, but the bookkeeping was in the boxes. Man, she straightened me up in 2 months. I was up and running. So we'll make sure I'll ask Roseanne if she can add her coaching program in the comments in case you're interested starting the new year really fresh and strong. So,
or even better, ending this year so you're ready for taxes, because what
that is
right
true.
now,
Yes, that is true, because you are starting when October 23rd. So it's 23rd. And I'll actually, guys, a little secret, I'll be on it as well because I am in a process of purchasing a business.
Which we're also going to have a whole long series on of snippets of what you're doing on that too, aren't we?
Yeah, so if you would like to learn more about my crazy business entrepreneurship, Join me. I'll be there. I'll be once again and forever Linda's student.
It's funny. We're all learning. We are all learning. And
We
so
are.
anybody who thinks that, hey, I've done it all, I know it all,
Yeah.
you get
And I'm loving it, because what else is there? And this, at the end, this can be fun as well. So there are hard, tough moments, but at the end, we are in it on our free will, because I don't think none of us can go back to 9 to 5 and have a boss.
Thank you.
We're past that. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for joining me during today's jam session at Real Estate Rockstars. I wish you a wonderful, fantastic day, and I'm looking forward to see you soon. And Jess, go get them.
Yes. Bye,
Bye.
Rockstars.
Bye-bye.